Now, the biggest news of the day is guess what? There is a new communist party. There is a new communist party in the United States. Now, as you know, because you follow my content, socialists don't really focus on political power. They focus on institutional power. But there are some groups that dabble in politics, okay? There are a couple of them. The DSA is obviously the most well-known, but the fact is that the DSA is not far left enough for most of these people. So what I suspect is happening here is this is an organization that we've watched this organization before. We've watched this organization multiple times. This is the organization that does Marxist school, which they do these like weekend long classes in like Minneapolis and New York and Chicago, and like you go for the weekend to Marxist school. It's something I wanted to go undercover at, but I also was like I had just come off of like the socialism conference, and I'm like, I'm not going undercover at Marxism school like right after the socialism conference, because I was like, they all know me now. And so if I'm going to do something like that, I actually have to be really sneaky about it. But I actually do want to go to I do want to go to one of their events. Marxist school, will you just bring me to one of your events and it can be above board? Like, I don't want to have to sneak around, but you guys force me to sneak around. Anyway, the same organization that does Marxist school is apparently doing a new communist political party in the United States. And they released some content about it. So I thought we would watch their little intro video to that today. And they actually have a session from Marxist school, from the NYC Marxist school, back in December, that is flat out talking about building a communist party in the United States. Oh, wow. It's almost like they were building a communist party in the United States. So I thought we would watch those and see what's what. Now, you guys might remember them because, like I said, we actually have watched them before. This is socialistrevolution.org. Does anyone recognize this website? Because we've looked at this website like multiple times. These are real radical revolutionary socialists. These are the farthest of the far left. And don't be confused when I use socialist and communist interchangeably, because they use them interchangeably. Look, the website is called Socialist Revolution and it says, "Are you a communist?" So they use the terms communist, Marxist, and socialist completely interchangeably. So I use them interchangeably. I default to socialist most, but like that, just if you're confused about the different language, that's why that is. And we've watched a couple of their presentations for Socialism Saturday. We watched this one, Socialism in Our Lifetime, Why We Need a Revolutionary Organization. We watched this one, Election 2020 and the Fight for Socialist Revolution. This was actually one of our first Socialism Saturdays right here. And then we watched another one rather recently. We watched not that one. This one. We watched this one for Socialism Saturday. Why the US is heading towards a revolution, capitalism at an impasse. We have an archive of these people. So if you've been watching my content for at least a year and a half, you were not surprised about this group is really my point. Conservatives might be surprised that all of a sudden there is a new communist party in the United States started by these people, but I've been covering these people for at least a year and a half. Conservatives behind me, per usual. Who wants to watch some communists? Who wants to watch some communists? Let's get this party started, guys. The first thing I want to watch is... So, as I mentioned earlier, we have a new communist party in the United States, and the Communist Party apparently has a preview of being a new communist party in the United States. Let's see what the Revolutionary Communists of America are up to.
The capitalist class argued that a new millennia of prosperity and stability was opening up. The Soviet Union had collapsed and the ruling class saw this as the final victory of capitalism, the dawn of a new golden age.
Liberal democracy is really all there is now. And we've seen that now in the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe. Communism was, in a sense, undermined.
But in just a single generation, everything has changed entirely.
Our generation has known nothing but economic crisis, war, political instability, debt, alienation, and misery.
There was a brief upswing for capitalism from the late 40s to the early 1970s after World War II, but life has gotten harder by truly every metric since that period came to an end.
And that era of capitalist stability is never coming back. This half-century process of decline has now reached a tipping point.
It is self-evident, indisputable, and impossible to ignore that we live in a society in decline. Living standards have worsened for several generations. Meaningful job prospects are more scarce than ever. Meanwhile, the capitalist inability to manage climate change threatens the foundations of human civilization itself. That's why in the last 15 years, we have seen increasing political turmoil and radicalization. The 2008 financial crisis, one of our generation's earliest memories, was just the beginning of this process.
Then, in 2016, Bernie Sanders came onto the national scene. There was widespread interest in socialism for the first time in decades. But the reformist socialists like Sanders, AOC, and DSA capitulated to the capitalists in every way.
The time for reformist tinkering is long gone.
Oh, shit! The DSA capitulated to the capitalists in every way. Did you guys hear that? I've been telling you guys. I've been trying to explain to people. Real socialists, the real radical revolutionary socialists, think the DSA is way too close to capitalism and they hate it. Let's listen to that part again.
Coming back. This half-century process of decline has now reached a tipping point.
It is self-evident, indisputable, and impossible to ignore that we live in a society in decline. Living standards have worsened for several generations. Meaningful job prospects are more scarce than ever. Meanwhile, the capitalist inability to manage climate change threatens the foundations of human civilization itself. That's why in the last 15 years, we have seen increasing political turmoil and radicalization. The 2008 financial crisis, one of our generation's earliest memories, was just the beginning of this process.
Then, in 2016, Bernie Sanders came onto the national scene. There was widespread interest in socialism for the first time in decades. But the reformist socialists like Sanders, AOC, and DSA capitulated to the capitalists in every way.
The time for
AOC and Bernie Sanders capitulated to the capitalists in every way. I need people to hear this. Every time you guys call Democrats or liberals socialists, the real socialists disagree with you, and they disagree strongly. And even the democratic socialists are not far left enough for them. And this is what I've been trying to explain over and over and over and over and over again.
reformist tinkering is long gone. We need to fight for the complete overthrow of capitalism. We need to organize for a socialist revolution in our lifetime. For the first time in generations, the idea of communism resonates with wide layers of society. A 2023 poll found that 20% of young people believe that communism is their ideal economic system. This process of
So I wonder how long it's going to take now that we have a clear video of the farthest radical revolutionary socialists calling for the complete abolition of capitalism. Is James Lindsay going to start saying the word capitalism? What do you guys think? Because I'm the only person that covers the far left that is not a socialist, that has been screaming for over a year and a half that the goal is to abolish capitalism. It is not about Western culture. It is not about Western values. That means white people. The goal is to abolish capitalism, which these people define as private property ownership. That is the definition. By private property, they mean your home, they mean your land, they mean your rental properties, they mean your parental rights. Your parental rights are considered to be private property. Your individual liberties are considered to be private property. They want to have all healthcare be public, no private doctors. They want all education to be public, no private schools or homeschooling. They want all energy, all gas, all food to be collectivized. No private production. Everything is provided by the state. They want all housing to be provided by the state. You don't get to buy a home anymore, guys. No home ownership, no apartment rentals, nothing. That's what they mean. And I have been the only person that has been screaming about this for at least a year and a half specifically about this issue. And every time I say it's capitalism, it's capitalism, it's capitalism, I get met with, no, Karlyn, you don't understand. It's Western values and Christianity. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is not. James Lindsay thinks that the DSA is socialist, whereas you can go back and look. I've been telling you guys that these people don't consider the DSA to be socialist for a long ass time because we see them say it. They say it. They write it openly. Conservatives will ignore this. Too busy owning the libs. Yup. Well, I don't know. James Lindsay will say, see, when they say capitalism, they mean white Christian Western culture. No, they don't. James Lindsay, probably. Of course. Of course.
Radicalization has transformed the American political landscape, but it is only the beginning.
The next 10 or 20 years will look nothing like the last 80, and we need to prepare. The burning task of our generation is to organize these tens of millions of communists into a united political force.
We need to bring...
Did you hear that? Tens of millions of communists. Guys, I have been trying to tell people that there are way more people on the far left in the United States than people think. And we're not just talking about Black Bloc Antifa. A lot of these people are in Antifa, but they're like, it's so much more expansive than that. Oh my fucking God. Tens of millions of communists, they said. And I think they're right. I think they're right. And I think that's been clear for a while for anyone who watches my content. There are way more of these people than people think. They're not just some little, like, faction that you see in a coffee shop, or like, they are organized. They have groups all over the country doing this unwoke wiki stuff that I've been working on. Like, I'll tell you what, I have uncovered more radical revolutionary socialist groups, and I already had like a hand in this, but like trying to sort out content that I'm putting in the unwoke wiki, I keep just uncovering new group after new group after new group. We keep seeing all the different ways in which they're connected. It is, and Reagan and Bot can vouch for me on this because they're doing the same thing. Like, it is immense. It is overwhelming. The amount of groups these people have, the amount of collectives these people have, the amount of nonprofit organizations these people have. Like, it's so much scarier than what you guys think it is. And we're trying to categorize it all. We're trying to build something out to like clock all this stuff. But it's like, you got to understand. And like Reagan's saying, like, there's so much. Bot is saying there's so much. They're helping me on this project. You guys got to understand that, like, when you start going down the rabbit hole in these groups, you just keep finding more. It's like, oh, I found one group. Okay, here's 15 other groups. And in every single one of those 15 groups, there's 15 more groups off of those. I mean, it really, like, I never thought doing the Unwoke Wiki project would, like, which is basically this website where we're trying to categorize everything and find all these groups and put them all in one place and put all the activists in one place so we can search them and create a database of them. Like, I never, ever, ever thought that we were going to find as much as we are. And we're just getting started. Like, we have scratched the surface of this. So when they say tens of millions of communists, I 100% believe it.
This new generation of communists together into a disciplined and professional organization.
With roots in every workplace, campus, union, and working class neighborhood. Already, tens of thousands of young people are ready to get organized in the real world. We just need to reach them.
Hundreds and thousands of us have realized that the power of workers flows from our numbers, and that as isolated individuals, we can achieve nothing.
We can't keep passively scrolling on Twitter, listening to leftist podcasts, or binging YouTube. The popularity of online communism is a symptom of the changing consciousness, but it offers no real solution. Our duty as communists is not to discuss or debate our ideas in the abstract, but to get to work building an organization that can carry these ideas into the class struggle. We need a new party.
A revolutionary party of action.
A genuine communist party. That is why we are launching the Revolutionary Communists of America.
A new political party to organize the tens and eventually hundreds of thousands of revolutionary communists in the United States.
The RCA sets out to build a revolutionary communist organization from coast to coast, with branches and cells in every workplace, every union, every campus, and every neighborhood.
With a presence already.
With branches and cells in every union, in every workplace. You guys are hearing this, right? This and I absolutely believe that they are capable of doing this because I've already seen the evidence that they're doing it. And we're trying to get that evidence organized, but there aren't that many of us, and so it takes a while. But I've already seen the evidence that they're doing this. Let's listen to that part again.
Revolutionary communists in the United States.
The RCA sets out to build a revolutionary communist organization from coast to coast, with branches and cells in every workplace, every union, every campus, and every neighborhood.
With a presence already in over 30 U.S. cities, we're not starting from scratch. But there is an enormous amount of work to be done.
30 U.S. cities. Let's go back and look at that map. 30 U.S. cities, all up and down the East Coast. There, Colorado is trying to pass legislation that says that schools can transition kids, essentially. Colorado, Arizona. I was telling you, did you guys see that story that came out from that Fox Weekend host where she went into some NGO like thing and they wouldn't let her look around where they're housing illegal immigrants? Well, guess what? That was in Tucson, Arizona. When I saw that video of that NGO thing, guess what? One of the people in the video had socialist tattoos on her arm. Look at where they are. That's going to be Tucson, Arizona. That's going to be Phoenix and Tucson. They're in California. They're, of course, in Seattle and Portland, and they're all over the Midwest. Now, I want people to see this. When I was at the socialism conference, I met a contingent of communists from Oklahoma. There they are. Minneapolis. I think that's South Dakota. All over Illinois. All over Indiana, Kentucky. This is not just in blue cities, guys. This is not just in blue states. This is everywhere. Oh my God.
Cities, we're not starting from scratch. But there is an enormous amount of work to be done.
Our present ranks represent only a tiny fraction of the revolutionary communists in the country,
who number in the tens of thousands.
Well, do you know what's in Tucson, Prometheus? Is the Tempest Collective. Does the Tempest Collective sound familiar? They're not exclusively in Tucson. There are Tempest Collective people all over the country, but there are a lot of Tempest Collective people in Arizona. And there's specifically Tempest Collective people in Tucson. The Tempest Collective is a radical revolutionary socialist collective.
Thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands.
In 1917, at a time not unlike our own, the whole world seemed plunged into the darkness of World War I, but the Russian Revolution showed the way forward. It was a beacon of hope and optimism. For the first time in history, our class, the working class, overthrew the capitalist rule and took power into their own hands. We are committed to organizing a new victory on these same lines.
We base ourselves on the most advanced ideas in the history of human thought, Marxism. We are guided by the ideas of Marx and Engels, the method of Bolshevism, and the legacy of the Russian Revolution. And as Lenin explained long ago, it is too late to form the party in times of explosion and outbursts. The party must be in a state of readiness to launch activity at a moment's notice.
In other words, we need to build the Revolutionary Party now, so we're prepared in the future. With this instrument, our class will be able to end capitalism once and for all.
Communism is not just a good idea.
Okay, so can we just be clear about this? Every single day that James Lindsay does not say the word capitalism. Can you guys please do me a favor? James Lindsay blocked me on Twitter, but I'm going to start creating fucking sock accounts to reply to him. I don't really care. If James Lindsay has blocked you, then create sock accounts to reply to him. People need to be haranguing James Lindsay every single goddamn day on Twitter about, why aren't you saying capitalism, James? Why aren't you saying capitalism, James? Why aren't you saying capitalism, James? Do you know, James, capitalism defined as private property ownership? Why aren't you telling people they want to abolish capitalism, James? Because they're being extremely clear right now that they want to abolish capitalism, and James Lindsay fucking refuses to say the word capitalism. So can people please just start getting on his fucking ass about this? James is either going to prove that he is a paid shill for Moms for Liberty that we all think he is, or he's going to prove that there is something deep down inside, some ethical nugget that still exists from before he sold out, where he actually cares about informing his audience about what is going on, because they are being crystal goddamn clear that their goal is to abolish capitalism. As I've been saying for a year and a half, screaming every single day at the top of my lungs, and being told, no, Karlyn, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. Their goal is to abolish Western civilization. No, it's not. Nope. They're not trying to abolish men. They're not trying to abolish white people. They're not trying to... How many people in this video are white, by the way? She looks pretty goddamn white to me. She looks pretty white. You're going to tell me she wants to abolish white people? Nope. No. Capitalism. It's always been it's not Christianity either. They are being explicit, and most of them are white.
Build the Revolutionary Party now, so we're prepared in the future. With this instrument, our class will be able to end capitalism once and for all.
Communism is not just a good idea or an identity. We're not interested in people who just want to talk. We dedicate ourselves to conquering the ideas of Marxism, intervening in the class struggle, and fighting for revolution. We live in a world brimming with untapped potential, with unimaginable wealth, technology, just waiting to be unleashed for the benefit of humanity. But the profit motive, the capitalist system...
Oh, look. That guy looks pretty white, doesn't he? If I was to listen to James Lindsay and the conservative influencers, I would understand that they would never have a white man in their video about abolishing, about like leftist ideology, because I am to understand that leftists hate all white men and want to destroy them. Except here we are, a white man right here, a fucking ginger. Right in the video. They could have put all black people in this video. They could have done an entire video made up of black trans people, okay? Believe me, they have enough of them in their movement. I've seen them. But here we are, a white man talking about abolishing capitalism. Huh, how funny. Let's listen again.
Good idea or an identity. We're not interested in people who just want to talk. We dedicate ourselves to conquering the ideas of Marxism, intervening in the class struggle, and fighting for revolution. We live in a world brimming with untapped potential, with unimaginable wealth, technology, just waiting to be unleashed for the benefit of humanity. But the profit motive...
Yeah, according to libs of TikTok, this video is all about sexualizing children. Because really, guys, that's all the left wants to do. They just want to sexualize children. Not about capitalism at all. Nope. It's about they're all pedophiles. Did you guys know they're all pedophiles? And that's all they care about is sexualizing children.
And the capitalist system are fundamental barriers to further human progress.
The hard truth is that there's absolutely no future and no hope for us under this current system.
There is hope, but only in the struggle for a new society.
So if you're a serious communist, it's time to stop being a passive observer.
If you're tired of sitting around and watching everything get worse and worse, this party is for you.
If you want to fight Instead of succumbing to this system that's in terminal decline, this party is for you.
If you want to play your part in history and help our class finally overthrow capitalism, this party is for you.
Help us bring together the tens of thousands of communists across this country.
Help us build the revolutionary communists of America.
Help us build the revolutionary communists of America.
Help us build the revolutionary communists of America.
How's everyone feeling about that? How's everyone feeling about that? I want to watch it again. Now that we've watched it once, I wasn't planning on doing this, but we're going to watch it again. But I just want to know, let's just take a quick pause. How's everyone feeling about that? Yeah, it is a little bit scary. Bots, bot is feeling blackpilled. They do make it look very attractive. You guys think that's not going to attract young people? You guys think that's not going to? Who on the conservative right is doing anything like this? No one on the right is doing anything like this. Maria is sickened. Yep. Look at, yeah, exactly. We are screwed. We are absolutely screwed. Hang on. Look at that. Friendly youth spreading the message. Yep. We're effed. Well, no one, is anyone who watches my content on a regular basis surprised by any of this? No one who watches my content on a regular basis is surprised. Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yup. They sure did use a lot of white people, didn't they? I was to understand that the left hated white people and they would never use white people because conservative influencers lied to their audiences about what was going on for years. Yep. Why is it that people don't take these people seriously? That is a great question. I don't know the answer to that because these people are more serious about what they're doing than the conservative right is serious about ever winning an election ever. I've been trying to tell people. A lot of youth to capture the youth, a lot of young people. No one who watches my content is surprised. People who listen to Tim Pool who says, Gen Z is conservative. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Oh, we're gonna do the they don't have jobs thing. Is that what we're talking about? That's really we have jobs. The left doesn't have jobs. They get funded to go to protests. We're the only ones with jobs. They all have jobs, bros. They're waiters, or they work in Starbucks, or they're baristas. They're all Bob, do you understand that this is where the unions come from? These are the union organizers. You're going to tell me they don't have jobs? They run the fucking teachers unions, bro. They run all the unions, but the teachers unions are the most important to me. We have jobs. They don't have jobs. We have jobs. We're the only ones with jobs. Okay, conservatives. Okay. All right. Yep. All the conservatives say is that the younger generation is lazy and entitled and doesn't want to work. That's their message. Yep, that's a big old rallying cry, and conservatives have no idea how to combat this at all. They don't even know this is happening. They literally don't even know this is happening. But no one who watches my content is surprised by this. No one. Not surprised. No, we've been watching this for a while. Nope, not surprised, but it sure is blackpilling. We are going to watch it again. We're going to do the other presentation tomorrow. We're going to watch this again. Don't worry about it. They've been teaching communism in school for longer than that. They've been teaching communism in school for at least 2 generations. It really solidified about 3 decades ago, a little bit less than that in some places, but They've been teaching communism in school for a long ass time. So that's the purpose of schools, to radicalize students so these groups can scoop them up. Yep, the schools are the feeder to this. The schools were always the feeder to this. Conservatives, we're winning! We're winning, bro! Pinky swear, trust me. It's almost like they weren't liberals or progressives like conservatives kept saying. It's almost like conservatives didn't know who the enemy was. This is the American Maoist Cultural Revolution, like I've been saying for a really long effing time. I tweeted about at James Lindsay about why he insists on being a Dave Rubin style insufferable prick because he won't mention capitalism. I think that is a great thing to do. I think that's a great thing. The whole focus is about capitalism. That's the entire focus. That's the entire focus. Well, no, Bob, it wasn't a joke. It wasn't a joke. Do you know how I know that? Because I've already had at least 3 conservatives this morning tell me, we have jobs, Karlyn. We have jobs. The reason the left is doing this is they don't have jobs. We're the only ones with jobs. I hear this every single day. So no, it's not a joke. You guys actually think this. I hear it every day, bro. I'm just scrolling through the chat, guys. I want to see what you have to say. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's not going to happen. No. Starbucks unionizers are so... Exactly. Every Starbucks union is run by socialists. So don't tell me they don't have jobs. Literally, not only are they working at Starbucks, and you can have all the judgment you want about that, but they are running the fucking unions. And they don't just run Starbucks unions. They run all of the unions. All union organizers are socialists, guys. All of them. All of them. There were a ton of union people at the socialism conference. It's not something I talk about a lot, but like every union is a socialist organizing project. Just scrolling through the chat. Give me a second here to catch up. Isn't it funny how they weren't focused on free speech or freedom of association? They're using those... Yeah, exactly. Because the left was never attacking Western values. I'm not going to say they never use the term Western, because they do every once in a while, but it's like for every 100 times we hear them talk about capitalism, we get one Western. It was never about Western values. That was always a conservative talking point. It was never a left-wing reality. They say it once in a blue moon, every 5th presentation or something like that. They say capitalism almost every goddamn time like clockwork. It was never about Western values. It was always and exclusively about capitalism, which is defined as private property ownership. And again, when they say private property, what they mean is your home, your land, any rental units that you have, your parental rights, and your individual liberties. And they want to control all healthcare, all education, all energy, all food, nothing privatized, all collectivized. We've talked about this a million times. That's what they mean. Let's just call the video for what it is. This is a Mao-style cultural revolution indoctrination video for you. Soon the Little Red Book will be everywhere. It already is. These people literally run something called Marxist School. They have weekend symposiums where they go all over the country and they teach people how to be Marxist. I've been covering these people for years. So they already have this. It's already existing.